Elena sat on the cold metal floor of the Central Quantum Research Chamber, her breaths coming in ragged gasps. The hum of the quantum stabilizers reverberated through the room, a soothing contrast to the chaos that had erupted just moments before. She could still see the remnants of Adrian's equipment, now a tangled mess of wires and shattered glass. The central console, which had once held the power to rewrite history, now flickered with harmless error messages. She looked up to see Adrian, restrained and defiant, being led away by security personnel. His eyes, once full of ambition and certainty, now held a mixture of anger and defeat. "You don't understand, Elena," he shouted over his shoulder. "You could have changed everything." Elena shook her head, exhaustion and relief washing over her in waves. "Some things are not ours to change, Adrian," she murmured, more to herself than to him. The gravity of what they had nearly lost weighed heavily on her shoulders. She knew the temporal anomalies had been stabilized, but the cost of Adrian's ambition would be felt for a long time. In the days that followed, the colony buzzed with activity. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to repair the damage and assess the anomalies Adrian had caused. The once harmonious environment was now tinged with an undercurrent of distrust and fear. Elena found herself in the heart of the effort, coordinating teams, analyzing data, and ensuring that every possible measure was taken to secure the timeline. Despite the sleepless nights and relentless pressure, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The gravity of their work had never been more apparent. One evening, as the sun set over Kepler 452b, casting long shadows across the research colony, Elena stood on the observation deck, looking out at the alien landscape. The twin moons hung low in the sky, their pale light reflecting off the surface of the distant ocean. "Beautiful, isn't it?" came a voice from behind her. She turned to see Dr. Maria Alvarez, a respected colleague, and one of the few who had supported her throughout the ordeal. "Yes, it is," Elena replied, a faint smile touching her lips. "Hard to believe how close we came to losing it all. You did the right thing, Elena. It couldn't have been easy, facing Adrian like that." Elena sighed, the weight of the past weeks settling heavily on her. It wasn't, but it had to be done. He was willing to sacrifice everything for his vision, but some risks are too great. We have a responsibility to protect the timeline, not bend it to our will. Maria nodded, her expression thoughtful. "We've implemented new protocols, stricter guidelines, more oversight. Adrian's actions won't be repeated." Elena turned to face her friend, gratitude evident in her eyes. "Thank you, Maria. Knowing that means a lot." As the days turned into weeks, the colony slowly began to return to a semblance of normalcy. The repairs were completed, and the scientists resumed their research, though the lessons of Adrian's actions lingered in their minds. The ethical guidelines were not just rules, but a constant reminder of the delicate balance they maintained. Elena found solace in her work, but she also took time to reflect. She often revisited the observation deck, finding peace in the vastness of space and the beauty of Kepler 452b. It was on one such evening that she was joined by a young researcher, David, who had been particularly shaken by the recent events. "Dr. Pierce," he began hesitantly, "I've been thinking a lot about what happened. About the risks we take with quantum technology." Elena smiled warmly, encouraging him to continue. "It's important to think about, David. What have you concluded?" He looked out at the moons, his brow furrowed in thought. "That we have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to the universe. We have to be careful, ethical, and always consider the consequences of our actions." Elena placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You're right, and as long as we remember that, we can use this technology to make incredible advancements. But we must never lose sight of the responsibility that comes with it." David nodded, a newfound determination in his eyes. "Thank you, Dr. Pierce, for everything." As he walked away, Elena felt a sense of hope. The future was uncertain, but as long as there were people like David, committed to doing what was right, she believed they could navigate whatever challenges lay ahead. Elena turned back to the view, the stars twinkling in the endless expanse of space. The horizon seemed limitless, filled with possibilities, and for the first time in weeks, she felt a profound sense of peace. The future was theirs to shape, responsibly and ethically, ensuring that the legacy of their discoveries would be one of progress and hope. The colony had survived its greatest challenge yet, and in doing so, had emerged stronger and wiser. And as the night sky stretched out before her, Elena knew that they were ready to face whatever came next, united by a shared commitment to the greater good.